go to the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself. Do you know how hard it is for some people to look at themselves in the mirror? Like really look at themselves in the mirror. Look at your eyes in the mirror. They can keep it. They look the other way. It's hard. But try to do that. And once you connect with that person looking back at you, then you say, I love you. You're great. I'm proud of you. You have come a long way. I trust you. You say those things to you and you empower yourself.
You are listening to Personal Development Mastery Podcast, providing those with the desire to grow with the simple, consistent actions needed to master personal development and create the life they yearn for. I am your host, 𝗁𝗁𝗄. A few years ago, I found myself unfulfilled and unmotivated, like I had lost my sense of purpose and my life was merely passing by. Since then, I've been on a continuous journey of personal development that has transformed every aspect of my life. Now, my mission is to inspire you to grow, stand out, and take action towards a purposeful and fulfilling life. In this podcast, I invite myself inside the minds of remarkable entrepreneurs, authors, thought leaders, spiritual teachers, people who share their journey, milestones, and learnings for you to be inspired to grow. In each episode, you will find practical action points that you can implement right now. So make sure you follow the podcast to get them as soon as they are released. Today's episode is about abundance, about the 7 steps to achieve abundance in your life, and also about gratitude journaling for children. It's a great conversation with a very uplifting guest. Let's dive right in. Today I am delighted to be joined by Claudia Noriega-Bernstein. Claudia, you are an artist, a published writer, philanthropist, abundance coach, mentor, mother, and wife. You have dedicated the last 12 years of your life to empowering people, especially children and women. As an abundance life coach, you help people to discover and implement the full potential of their own creative powers for personal growth and self-healing. Claudia, welcome to the show. It's such a pleasure to speak with you today.
I am so thrilled to be here, and it's a pleasure to talk to you. I have listened to a few of your podcasts, and I found them very uplifting and enlightening, and I love it. So I was really looking forward to have this chat with you.
That's brilliant. And now I will make a comment that just came to my mind, that someone listening to us already, because we are two strange accents one after the other, so this
Yeah.
is really something that one will enjoy or they won't. So it's beautiful. We will talk about abundance mainly, Claudia. That's my intention to direct most of the conversation, not all of it though. But before we discuss abundance, I would like to start with a bit of your journey, your background. So usually there is, a transition in people's lives. So would you like to take us back to what were you doing before, some possibly turning point that turned your life into doing what you are doing now?
Yes, I had a degree in production and direction of TV and film, so that was my background. I was always working on that, and in a way, when I think about it, it's like when you work on TV. I used to be an actress too, so when you work on TV, you pretend to be somebody when you play a character in front of the camera. And it just dawned on me when, as I was saying this, that's what most of us do in our life. We pretend to play that part. And so I was working on that for a long time. And I think to an extent I was playing a part. And I realized that I wasn't happy and fulfilled. And perhaps that's one of the things that you and I have more in common, that for the world, we had everything. We were established. We had a good job. We had a family. Everything was perfect in front of somebody else's eyes. But when I would look at myself in the mirror, I was feeling that I was missing something. It was like, there has to be something else, it's like if I had a pizza and there was one slice missing, in a way. So I started working on myself, and I started discovering things about me that I wasn't aware of, or perhaps they were not available for me because of all my limited beliefs. Everything what I adopted as true since I was a child, because that's how the limited beliefs are. People tell you one thing about you and you adopt that information as true. And one day you wake up and you realize that all those statements or facts in quotes that people have said about yourself are not true. And then you want to find out who you really are and what is your purpose and what is your mission and why you're here for and what is your talent. And as I said in my book, everybody has a gift. You just unwrap it at different times. And that was my time to unwrap my gifts. And I realized that my high, as my husband described it, is to empower others and to see those changes and to see those potentials become real. And I love to do that. So I changed my life 180. I stopped doing what I was doing. It was a perfect timing because my daughters were growing. They were becoming independent. They were going to college. They were doing different things. So for me, it was kind of like my time to do what I really wanted to do. And I was having a conversation with my daughter yesterday, because we were talking about visions and what I wanted to do and what she wanted to do. And she said to me, Mom, do you ever feel bad that you were not able to do certain things because you were a single mom? Because they see my potential. And I said, absolutely not. First of all, I would never put that weight on them. Like I could have been this, and that if I wouldn't have to do A, B, C, or D. I would never do that. But the truth is that I enjoy very much being a mom. So I was very present. And I always felt that what is for me is going to come at the right time. I think God times are perfect. The universe, whatever you want to call it, they're perfect. And things come to you at the right time. So now it's my time to do this. And I am having a blast and I'm enjoying myself. And as I always said, sometimes I'm the teacher and sometimes I'm the student. So it's all good. I'm just very happy to be in this ride.
That's fantastic. Thank you for sharing it in such a way. And one thing that came to my mind while you were discussing that, and I want to ask you, because right now you are really, fulfilled and successful in what you do. I want to go back to the beginning when you said that you had the realization and you changed your life 180 around. Was there some difficult moment that you had to face and overcome, or was it because you found your things, shall we say, things started flowing for you?
I think that it wasn't like a trauma that made me change my life. I think it was the acknowledgement and the realization that I had all those traumas in the past that I needed to work on. So I started working on myself. It wasn't like I woke up one morning and say, oh my God, this just happened to me. I have to make a change in my life. No, it was a process. And in that process, I started to realizing this limited belief is not true. This trauma taught me something. This other situation wasn't personal. It wasn't against me. And then realizing, like looking backwards, to my life and say, okay, I am where I am right now because of everything that happened for me, not to me. And now that I have all these ingredients, I'm going to try to create something delicious for my life. And I started working on myself first. That was the first step, working on myself and kind of going through those ingredients, if you want to call it, and figuring out, okay, where is this coming from? Why do I feel this way? What it is that happened to me 10 years ago, 5 years ago, a year ago that, makes me feel the way I'm feeling right now. And once I understood myself, because I always feel that everything starts with ourselves. You can love if you don't love yourself. You can respect if you don't respect yourself. So the work starts with you. And when you start working on those limited beliefs and all those traumas and all those experiences that had hold you back, that's when you have the opportunity to make the turn into having a different mindset and having a fulfilled life and have an abundance life. I think the process has to start with you. And when I have a client that comes and is so much into the whole of, and I'm talking whole, not the 𝗵𝗀𝗂𝗋𝗄, but the whole 𝗁𝗄𝗋𝗋, so into the whole that you don't see the light.
Right.
And you just think this is who I am and this is how my life is going to be. And then you live a life of survival. You're just surviving every day. It's like, I can wait until it's the night so I can go to sleep. But then again, the next morning you start again. But there is no light. So that mentality is like a scarcity mentality. You're never going to grow. You're never going to have the life of abundance that you deserve. I honestly feel we came to this world to be happy. We didn't come to this world to suffer. And yes, there is different circumstances, and geographically, there is huge difference between where you're born and what is your reality. But I truly believe that no matter what is happening in your life, you have the possibility to see a bright side, and you have the possibility to see possibilities. It's really up to you. It's how you face it.
That's wonderful. And I have, talking about abundance, and you mentioned scarcity mindset and abundance. What do you think is your number one advice to someone who wants to make that transition in the mindset? What's the number one thing to do in order to go to the other side? And then I will ask you more practical things, but I think this mindset shift is important. Not everyone has understood it, and that's why I'm asking.
I believe that to fix a problem, you have to acknowledge first that there is a problem. So when something is not working, the first thing you have to say to yourself is why this is not working. And the why can come both ways, because why this is not working, and then why do I want a different life? Because that second why is going to be your fuel to start making the changes that you need to make to achieve the life that you want.
That's great. And thanks for that. It's as I said, it's important. And these practical things, I always enjoy during the podcast conversations to offer to the listeners some things like that, some exercise or a question. Now that you said why is it not working, just spending the time to answer that question or ponder on that question can lead to great insights. So it's always great to share them. Talking about abundance, the first question that I want to ask you, how do you define abundance? What is abundance for you, Claudia?
Abundance is a lot of something. When you have a lot of something, you have abundance in your life. Now, the conversation can go two ways, because some people think that a lot of something is a lot of material things. I have abundance because I have a big house. I have abundance because I have 2 cars, or I make a lot of money. But then you wake up one day and you feel poor because you have all these things, but you don't have what makes you happy. I just read a story about this father that took his kid to a very poor village to show him how privileged he was. And when he came back, the child says, "We are the poor ones because they are not watching TV all day. They're playing in the park. We're not sitting in the table with our phone. They're talking to each other." So it's how you see abundance. For me, abundance is a lot of love, is a lot of friendship, is a lot of happy moments, is a lot of health, is a lot of precious moments. That is abundance for me. And it's a lot of possibility as well. So when I face the day every day, I don't face the day thinking what I have to do. I face the day thinking what I get to do. And that immediately shift my perception, because you can be sitting in a car and thinking, "Oh my God, I am so frustrated because there is so much traffic. I don't know, I'm going to be late, da 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 da." All that is not going to change that present moment. Your attitude can change the present moment. Okay, I'm in traffic. I'm going to listen to a podcast, or I'm going to practice my language that I'm trying to learn, or I am going to have, a silly moment with a silly song that is playing in the radio. It's your choice. And if people would really, but really realize that every day we have the choice to make it or break it, because it's just like that. We have that choice. And if we choose to be positive, to have an abundance mindset and think, "Look how lucky I am. I'm sitting in this car instead of being in the middle of a country that is in war," for example. I'm sitting in this car, and yes, I am in traffic, but I'm listening to music. And you know what? Me being upset or being stressed out is not going to make me get wherever I need to get faster. So let's just be present. Where are you right now? What can I do right now?
100% agree with you. I would add that the challenge to that is to being present.
Yeah.
Is that many times for many people, the autopilot behavior of the mind, shall we say, just takes over, and you are not conscious of what you're thinking, how you're behaving, whether you are stressed out in traffic. You tend to get so much absorbed in this stream of thinking. So I think that's the challenge there, to be able to catch yourself that, whoa, okay, I'm really drifting away. Let me be present.
It's a constant reminder. Yes. Yeah, I actually have 7 steps to achieve that abundance. And I'll tell you really, I'm not going to expand, but I'll just name them to you.
Sure.
The first thing, what I said before, you have to acknowledge the problem. So you have to be mindful. You have to be in that moment aware of where you are, your surroundings, be present, not in the past, not in the future, right now, where I am. That's the first step. Second step is to practice gratitude. And you don't practice gratitude just by saying, "Oh my God, thank God, I didn't do this." Oh my God, thanks. It's a great thing that it's not going to rain today. No, like really practice gratitude. Really be aware of the blessings that you have, and really be thankful and say it out loud. I am so grateful that I have health today. I am so grateful that I can see the world, that I'm not blind, that I can see my kids growing up and my children having children, and this beautiful world that we share. Be really grateful for what it is. Number 3 is believe in possibilities. You really got to believe that there are possibilities, not problems, not walls, not inconvenience, but possibilities. We live in a life of, in a world with possibilities. We more than a lot of other people in the world. So see those possibilities, because those possibilities are available for you. Number 4 is always surround yourself with positive people. It's very important who's your tribe, who you allowed in your life. If you're going to have people around you that is always negative, that is always thinking, this is not going to happen, I hate this job, I don't like this country, I don't like this politics, then you are carrying that weight of those people. But if you surround yourself with people that are uplifting, and they see possibilities and things, and they greet you already with a smile, then your whole attitude is going to change. So I think it's very, very important to surround yourself with people that are going to bring that to your life. Also, I think it's number 5 is meditate. I think meditating, and I know you're fond of it. I know you just went away to do a meditation retreat, correct?
Yes, I did a 10-day silent day Vipassana retreat. So meditation is one of the best ways that I found to be more in control of my mental and emotional state. I can't say I have mastered it yet, far from it, but it is, a journey of learning for me. Meditation.
It's all about practice, right? But when we pause and we meditate, and people think that when they meditate, they have to have a blank mind the whole time. Your thoughts are going to come, but it's the ability of get rid of those thoughts and go back into your blank canvas so your mind can rest. I think meditation and calming your mind allow those positive things in the world to come to you, because it's like you have your mind all crowded, so you're making space for that. And I think, sometimes I say to my daughters, when you make the space for what is available, when you get rid of the weight from the past, you make the space for what's available for you. And if you keep carrying, all the problems from the past, then the new things are not going to come because you don't have the space. Number 6 is pursue what you love. It's very important to do what you love, even if it's a little bit during the day. I mean, I'm not saying that everybody's going to have a hobby and quit their job. No, you got to have a job. That's fine. But pursue what you love. Have that joyful experience in your life, even if it's 10 minutes a day. Even do whatever you need to do to get there, to eventually be in that place doing exactly what you love to do. It might take a long time, it might take a little time, nobody knows. But every day make a step closer, even if it's an inch, just make a little step closer to where you want to be. I think coaching, and that's the last step, coaching is important. Sometimes we don't have the answers, so we need somebody to guide us. We need somebody to help us find that abundance, or realize the abundance that we have in our life. And journaling for me is super, super important. Actually, you said something in your podcast, says stand out, don't fit in. And my journal, one of the journals that I wrote, is don't shrink to fit, because we oftentimes do that, and there is a very big misconception between fitting in and belonging. We all want to belong, and that is, to an extent, a human need. We need to belong, but you don't have to fit in. It's okay to stand out. It's okay to be different. Why would you want to be like everybody else? I mean, no. So, I remember my daughter one time came home when she was little, and she said to me, "Mommy, this kid in school told me that I'm odd. What is that?" And I go, "Well, odd is like different, and I tried to explain it to her with her own words because she was little. And she goes, "Oh." And I go, but that's a good thing. And she goes, why? And I said, why would you want to be like everybody else? You know, embrace your talent, embrace what's different, because you don't know how you can expand that talent and become something magnificent. But if you push it down or hide it, you will never know. So embrace your oddness. You know?
I want to take a short break from this episode and quickly let you know about something I'm really excited about. For me, having a podcast made a tremendous difference in my life's journey, and I know the kind of impact it can have on one's personal development. And that is why I'm so passionate about helping coaches who are ready to amplify their message and reach a global audience by creating, launching, and growing a top quality podcast, even if they aren't tech savvy and are limited on time. Maybe you have thought about having your own podcast, but you don't want to go through the time-consuming learning process of how to create, launch it, how to record, edit, host, and so on. If you said yes, I have a solution for you, something that takes away all the complexity and allows you only to concentrate on creating quality content. Go to my website, 𝗁𝗁𝗃𝗀𝗄 to find out more and to get your free copy of my guide about creating and launching your podcast. Alright, let's jump back to the episode. Thank you, and I liked very much what you said about the difference between fitting in and belonging. And fitting in my definition, shall we say, is doing things basically to please or to for other people's expectations rather than what is in your heart or truly inside you authentically to do. And it's everyone has the human need to belong, but by hiding your unique talents, who you truly are, your brightness, because we all have this light in us, and it's part of the journey to explore and find out what it is and then share it. So that was a great thing you said, the way that you said it. There was one other thing I wanted to ask in terms of abundance. I liked very much your description of the 7 steps, which was also very in a nice structured way, practical for someone to understand, even though all of them are complete common sense. It's just who does them. That's the question. I wanted to ask you also, what is, from your experience, what do you see is the main obstacle that holds people from achieving abundance?
Their limited beliefs. I think 100%. I think it's easier to accept what other people say than to do the work to grow. It's easier, I am so messy, or I am this. It's the way we speak to ourselves. If we only can stop and realize how important it is, the way we speak to ourselves, our thoughts, what we say. Because if we continue saying, oh my God, I'm so stupid. I am so stupid. I'm sorry I said that. I'm so stupid. That's how you talk to yourself? You're stupid? Would you talk to somebody else like that? Would you talk to your best friend like that? No, you would not tell your best friend 7 times a day you're so stupid. So why would you say that to you? Why would you talk to yourself like that? You should be your best friend. You are the person that knows you best. You're the person that is the longest with you since the moment you're born until the moment you die. So we need to be kind to ourselves. We need to talk to ourselves like we are the most precious thing in this world. And that is not being selfish. That's being self-full. Because you feel yourself with positive things, with empowering things. So then you become the light. I always say, I don't want to be a thermometer. I want to be a thermostat. And I have that in my book. I want to walk in a place and I want to change the narrative. I want to be the positive thing that is coming and is going to make everything better just by having that attitude. I think that's so important. And when we start listening to what everybody else have to say about us, then again, we pretend. We become this actor that are pretending to play this part created by everybody that is around us. But that's not really us. That's an imaginary character created by everybody else's opinion.
That positive thing that you mentioned, the phrase to shift someone's attitude. Will you give to the listener right now one piece of advice, some practical thing, one actionable thing to really hammer that down home? And actually, I think it's so important that if we can, share something more practical about it, it would be perfect.
One exercise that is very easy to do is just to grab a piece of paper and write the positive and the good things about yourself, which is hard sometimes, because you think, oh, I'm self-centered, I'm this, no. Tell me positive things about yourself. What can you bring to the table? Who are you? You know what I'm saying? And then you write them down. I am talented. I'm smart. I'm kind. I'm compassionate. I'm loving. You start with you. But that is a very simple exercise to do. Once you do that exercise and you're more in tune with who you are, then you can go to the mirror. And that's another exercise that I'll tell my clients to do. Go to the mirror. Tell yourself you love yourself. Do you know how hard it is for some people to look at themselves in the mirror? Like really look at themselves in the mirror. Look at your eyes in the mirror. They can keep it. They look the other way. It's hard. But try to do that. And once you connect with that person looking back at you, then you say, I love you. You're great. I'm proud of you. You have come a long way. I trust you. You say those things to you and you empower yourself for the day. Imagine you coming to face the world with that attitude. It's like you're wearing a cape. You're a superhero. It's a superhero or a super shiro, however you want to call it. But I think it starts there, but it's a process. Don't expect to have abundance mindset overnight. If you don't have it, if you are not there yet, that's your goal. You need to work every day towards that goal. And perhaps the first day, you're not going to be able to even hold your eyes looking back at you. But the second day, you will achieve a little more. And it's okay if you cry. I have clients that tell me, I have been looking myself in the mirror for 40 years, and now I look at myself in the mirror and I cry. I said, okay, it's okay to cry. You are not going to stop being strong because you're vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
That's a total misconception, especially with men. When I do this exercise with men, oh my God, it's like, okay, how long do I have to do that? And I'm like, well, you haven't been looking at yourself. You're looking at me through the mirror. I want you to look at yourself. And they're like looking at themselves and then again, looking at me like, how much longer? Just tell me what you see. Connect with that person. You're not just a body that walks around this world. You have a soul inside you. Connect with that soul. And once you do that and you realize that that person looking back at you got your back, you're not alone anymore. You have everything that you need. If you're going to choose somebody else to share your life, that's a choice. It's not a need. because you already have everything you need. Everything you need is within you.
I love this. Thank you. That's wonderful, Claudia. There is also one other thing. I will change subject slightly. I wanted to ask you about. You have published 3 books. There was one that really caught my attention because it's something I feel quite unique, and I wanted to ask you to share a few of your thoughts. And that's the Gratitude Journal for Children.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you share a little bit about that for me and for the listener who may be a parent and they want to understand the importance of uh, developing the virtue of gratitude from a young age?
I have 3 journals and 1 book because I just published the one for men.
Mhm.
So there are the 3 journals. I published the one for men because my husband was using the one for women, and it had too many flowers, so I decided to change it a little bit and make it less girly. I created the journal for children, first of all, because I was very concerned about the amount of children that were killing themselves during COVID. It was very disturbing how the isolation from school, from social life, from being with their friends was affecting them. And I wanted to do something that would help them with their mindfulness, to be present. And how can I do that in a way that is also fun? So, as you know, gratitude, because I said it before, is one of the steps that you have to take to create that life of abundance. And we live in a world of instant gratification, especially for children. I want this, you get it. Simple. And sometimes they just don't even have to. They just go online and they order it. They don't even have to ask for it. It's very different than when I was a kid. So I wanted to create something that help them be present, acknowledge what they do have, but also look a little deeper. In the journal for kids, the questions that I have are, well, they have to write the day they are, and then they have little emojis on the side to see how they feel that day. And I put those emojis because one time I was, one of my clients, he was a 5-year-old kid, and he was having problems at school. He was being very aggressive. And kids learn things from home. I don't believe that kids are born aggressive or racist or prejudiced. They learn those things from home. So this kid, his parents were going through a divorce and he was angry. So he was having problems in school. When he came, we started playing with, it's like a kind of like a pizza thing, it has different emotions. And we put it together, we build it together. And when we finished, he said to me, there is one that is missing. And I said, which one? Because I have happiness, sadness, anger, the basic feelings, because it's important the children learn the different feelings. When you have your head down, doesn't mean you're always angry. You can be upset, you can be sad, you can be depressed, you can have stomach pain. There is different feelings. So he comes to me and he goes, there is one missing. And I say, which one? And he goes, the stressful one. And I was so impressed that a 5-year-old knew what being stressed looked like, So, and this is what I said. I always say, sometimes I'm the teacher and sometimes I'm the student. I was a student there and a 5-year-old was teaching me. So I decided to put many little emojis of faces. So it's not just sad and happy, anger and sad, let's explore a little more how you feel. Then I have little batteries to see the level of energy, But what was more important for me in the journal was, tell me one thing that always makes you smile. So you bring the kid to a positive place immediately. We're going to think about something that makes me smile. I love when, and they have to finish the sentence. Another positive thing. Today I learned. What did you learn today? We learn things every day. I remember getting my kids from school. What did you learn today? Nothing. What do you mean nothing? What do you mean nothing? You learn something. Even if it's like, if you don't tie your shoes, you're going to trip and fall. That's a lesson. So you learn something. Today I appreciated, tell me who or what you're thankful for. So they have to really go back and see, I am thankful for my friend Tommy, or I am thankful that I was able to do PE today because it wasn't raining. Like something positive that happened to you. Immediately, you're teaching your children to see the positive in every single day. One thing that was hard for me today, it's okay. It's okay to say, I had a problem with math, or I had a problem talking to the new kid in the school. Why? Let's talk about it. These are all opportunities for the parents to have a conversation with the kid. And then my good deed of the day was, because I think it's very important that we teach our kids to pay forward, not only to be grateful for what we have, but also to help, to be kind to others. And then at the end of the book, at the end of each page, I have a little quote, which I have it in my other journals too, but this is more like for kids. So this one, for example, said, don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do. And I have little stories. I have little exercises. I have problem solvings. I have what is the message in the story, because I have little stories and stuff like that. And then, big quotes that empower kids. You are amazing just the way you are. And during the whole journal, I have different things that would help the parents communicate better with the kids, help the kids be more present and grateful, and also learn, because you learn every day with different things. I thought it was so important to teach kids to be present and to be mindful and to be grateful since they're little. So then that has a ripple effect. You don't know when that kid is going to talk to another kid, and that brings me back to one time when one of my daughters she was in kindergarten, my middle daughter, Isabella. I went to pick her up from school, and this lady knocked on my window. And I look at her, and I didn't know who she was, put my window down. She gave me $1. And I said, uh, why are you giving me $1? And she goes, your daughter gave $1 to my daughter today. And I said, Isa, why did you give her $1? And because I always put $1 just in case in their lunch bag. And we're talking about 27 years ago. And she said to me, because her parents are getting divorced and she's going to need it. But I thought it was cute, but at the same token, how generous of her to do that. And then the mind process. So, those little things are so amazing to me, because kids are always listening. They're sponges. They're watching us. And if we can teach them since they're little to help the other one, to be mindful of the people around you, and care enough to connect. We can connect with people in the grocery store. We can connect with people on the bus. We can connect with people everywhere. And you don't know who needs at that moment a smile, an empowering phrase, a pat in the back. So I love that I am able to create, in this case, this journal for kids that open those possibilities for them.
That's wonderful. I I realized when you were saying that I only started journaling myself when I was in my 20s, and the real detailed journaling that I do now, it's probably the last 7 years or 6-7 years. So, but I wish I had a journal like the one that you have for children when I was growing up. That would be amazing. So thank you. I really enjoyed what you do there and the description of the journal. I do have, Claudia, a couple of quick fire questions to start wrapping this conversation up. Before I go there, I would like to ask you, where would you direct the listener that has enjoyed the conversation and wants to connect with you and find out more about what you do?
I have a website. It's called, just like my book, brighterdaysbook.com. I have my Instagram too. They can connect through my Instagram. It's called 𝗁𝗲𝗄𝘆𝗲, my Instagram.
That's nice.
And well, first of all, because I didn't want to use a bad word. And second of all, because I do believe in Cinderella stories. Yeah. I do believe that you're going to have the right person coming to you and you can have your happily ever after. It's really up to you, to make the choices and to have the right mindset to look for the possibilities every day.
Thank you. That's great. So just some final rapid fire questions then, Claudia. And the first one I always ask is, what does personal development mean to you?
To grow. And I am a believer that people don't change, people grow. When somebody says, oh, no, that person has changed. If the person doesn't open their mouth, it's the same person. It doesn't change. It just grows. And when you grow and you are open to growing, then everything else falls into place.
That's great. And let's say you could go back in time and meet your 18-year-old self. What's one piece of advice you would give her?
I would tell her, it's funny you say 18-year-old because, excuse me, that was before I got married, but right before I got married. But I would have said to her not to get married. I would say to her, you don't have to do what they're telling you to do. You do what you want to do because you are going to be okay, because you have what you need. So if I would go back to my 18-year-old, I would give her a hug and I would say, do what you want to do, not what they're telling you to do.
Thank you. Claudia, I have really enjoyed our conversation today. Thank you so much for sharing this amazingly positive outlook with us today. I mean, it was coming through, even though we're on the other side of the ocean, it was coming through my screen and my headphones. So thank you very much for this. I want to wish you all the very best with your mission and keeping on empowering others. Last parting words from you?
One person at a time, right? We can change this world one person at a time. We don't have to go and try to change, a whole stadium. Just, start with you. Start with you. And then you can start with the next person, then the next person. And especially with children, if we start changing the mentality and teaching kids what really is important in life, then we can give them the possibility to have an abundant life. And I think we all deserve it and we all have it if we want to.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you got great value from today's episode. And if you'd be so kind, please take a moment to leave me an Apple Podcasts review, sharing how personal development mastery has made a difference to you today. And I will read the review in the podcast. Until next time, stand out, don't fit in,